Hey, what's up, everybody? Video 44 coming into another video. All right, so let's get back to basketball. Try to keep my voice down. I'm acting like it's 2 in the afternoon. It's not. But anyway, so in teams, all of the teams in the NBA. What do you say? I'm a Laker fan. I'm in the dumps, man. I can hear all of you, everybody who's been following me. I've been talking about some of y'all teams and the bad moves that y'all made. Heck, I've even said be patient in situations and to slow down and not be overzealous. I've said all these different things, but right now my team is 0-5 and I'm ready to make a move. I'm ready to make a move, make my team better. If you want to call it cold feet, sweaty hands, sweaty palms, I don't know what to tell you, man, but it is definitely panic mode time for this franchise in regards to making a move for the team. Now, I don't want to make a bad move, but I don't know that there is a good move to make. I think that the value of everything that we have, of course, is fluctuating downward. And I think the most important thing that we can do is try to take everything that we have and try to shop it for the best possible return. Obviously, LeBron James, much has been said about not being able to trade him until the summertime. So you don't. No worries. He's just a part of this. But everything else, yeah, it needs to be shopped. I love some of the players on our team, but no one's not. There's nothing untouchable, man. We need to scale back everything and revamp the entire thing. And if anything gets kept, I'm happy with that. You know what I mean? There's certain players on this team I want to keep, young players that I want to see grow. But there's nothing here that can't go after today. Nothing. Because we have to we have to reset our situation. I understand that we could go forward. There's so much wisdom in just saying, you know what, the Lakers are 0-5, okay. We'll make a couple of trades like we intended to do, and then we work our way back, and then we get to the mountaintop, and maybe we feel good. But what I'm saying to you is this: LeBron James is taking a lot of punishment, man. That's the truth. And while last year I thought he had it in him to do that, this year's I don't know. I don't know. I think he's going to need a lot of help to be NBA champion this year, and I think he's going to need a lot of days off in order to have it come June, especially for what he has to go through right now. And I think that's why he's so frustrated, so especially frustrated, because I think he feels it probably more so than ever before. So that's just my assessment. I could be very wrong, but it don't matter. The point is the Lakers need to do what they got to do. Here's the thing, though. That makes sense to me. I think it might make sense to you. But I don't know that it makes sense to the Knights of the Round Table, who is actually in control of everything that's going on back there. I think they may be a little more patient. I don't know what they are thinking, but here's the thing that I've come to have take place. I don't trust any of them. I'm concerned that they won't get the best return for what it is we have. I'm concerned that I'll regret that I let them do that, because last time we did something like that, we got left with a lot of trash. Jim Buss left us with a lot of garbage on his way out. Jeannie Buss would be wise to consider making sure that nobody's able to do that to her this go round. Take that for what it's worth. I understand that all of this is a big, huge contrast from what we were saying just a week ago. But it's not just how that we lose, it's how you lose. It's not just that we lost, it's what we saw when losing. I saw a lot of individuals, I saw a lot of bad basketball play, I saw a lot of uh, disengaged energy, lacking in focus, people coming in didn't look like they halfway believed in what they were doing. Guys not really focused on what it takes to win a basketball game, but very, very confident in speaking about what that mistake was, as if it was not a mistake. All within 5 games, it's become clear to me that we're not one trade away from a championship. And if we're not one trade away from a championship, then we're not able to get good enough to get a championship, because we only have one trade that we can make that'll otherwise get us even close to being a contender. If that trade can't make us good enough, then what we're doing doesn't make any sense. Now, how long it takes people to come to that conclusion, what happens once a person comes to that conclusion, because see, that's another aspect of this. It's like, okay, what if I say, I don't believe in it anymore? I don't take the first, trade I see. I wait until the clock makes sense for me even then. So for all I know, they may have already given up on this thing, and that we might be seeing the result of that. That's what I'm afraid of. That is actually what I'm most afraid of. That they have already said, we're not doing anything, and this is the team that you're going to see for the rest of the season. There's a chance. It might be the best move. Because honestly, I don't trust anybody to do anything right. It's not even about whether or not they need to make a move or don't need to make a move. Nah, I just don't want anybody to do anything. That's how incompetent they appear to me at this point. I hate that it's gotten to this point, but it's true. That's how being hesitant to make common sense organizational decisions, that's what that can do. When people clearly see something needs to be done and you don't do it, but they've already seen that movie last year, yeah, they don't really have a whole lot of patience for any hesitation. And the lack of understanding is frustrating. I looked on a Laker post today on Facebook just now, right before I turned on the camera. You know what I saw? Congratulations to LeBron James, 20-point games, the most consecutive 20-point games in NBA history. And I was just thinking to myself, I think we might be slightly out of touch. I think that. As an organization, I think that. And what I mean by that is, our fan base does not respect that. You look at the comments, 90% of the comments were pretty much unanimous in saying, we don't like that. We don't want to see that. Any individual accolades being celebrated is corny to us, but even more so corny when we're losing, especially historically losing. We don't want to see that. Bit out of touch. And I look up and I say, do you think Bron wants to see that in this environment? I mean, it's understood that he does appreciate being celebrated for what it is that he does. It's understood that he's after certain individual accomplishments, but he also understands that we don't respect individual accolades. He came to this environment knowing that. So why would we patronize him in this way, knowing that he's going to be looked at as somebody who's celebrating his own individual accolades in a time where we're 0-5? That don't help him. And if it strokes his ego, I don't see how. What it looks like to me is you guys trying to patronize the man while not doing what it is that you need to do to make him a winner. That's what it looks like. I just don't believe that is how far we've fallen. Once again, after pulling ourselves out of the hole that Jim Buss left us in, only to find ourselves go up, all the way up to reach the championship, only to find ourselves back down in the same hole we came ourselves out of. Can you see that loop there? How significant that is? To go all the way from the bottom all the way to the top and fall all the way down again. That is exactly the tenure we have here. It's exactly how it's going. This franchise has not been run properly as of late. I think it's okay to say that. I think much has been said about it. You know, obviously we care here about our team. Probably more than maybe most people do. Which is why we can talk about it so much. It's affected our lives in positive ways, which is why we have this type of passion here. It means something, you know? And so when we see product on the floor that doesn't live up to at least something that we can cheer for, expectations may be a bit high being a Laker fan, but we've settled for less a lot of the time and cheered just the same, trust me. We've had a lot of fun cheering guys that were not that talented. But it was with a purpose. See, we knew we were going to be getting better soon. We knew we had picks coming. We knew we had a player that might be on the way or somebody coming back from injury, which is why we were so bad. There was always some reason that we could sit there and watch bad because, you know, it's going to get better. This is one of those situations where we know it's going to get worse if the people who are in place don't do things better. That's what we have right now. We're 0-5, the first time since Robert Sacre and Ryan Kelly was running around. Like, I remember those years. The worst basketball years I've ever experienced as an NBA fan. That era. And we've revisited the type of losing that we had then. And LeBron James and Anthony Davis and Russell Westbrook are all on the team. And this makes sense to anybody. This is why I'm calling for us to trade Anthony Davis. Because it doesn't make any sense at all. There's nothing wrong with Anthony Davis at all. As far as what I've seen from him to start this season, maybe he's missed a couple games, but you know, he is who he is. We expect that. And that is something we cannot accept anymore, unfortunately, because of the circumstances what we got going on. We got to trade him. And we got to trade him for a lot. Now, as far as taking Russell Westbrook's contract and trading it, well, I have to be honest with you. I have to assess what I'm doing. Because trading him with those 2 picks does not make any sense if I'm trading away Anthony Davis anymore. If we're rebuilding, the last thing I want is those picks to leave the organization, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely not. The last thing we need to do is trade picks. Least of all to get rid of someone that's going to be getting off of our organization's books at the end of the season. No, if we trade Anthony Davis, I do not want us to trade Russell Westbrook unless we're bringing back further assets. Definitely not getting rid of assets in that scenario. Those 2 picks stay put. Ain't no way in hell Russell's going to cost us those picks if we're rebuilding. We got to recalibrate our thoughts in regards to that LAL. Please understand me. We're rethinking everything once you start thinking about rebuilding your team, including how long it's going to take to actually do it. Like I said, if she's come to that conclusion, one scenario is that we don't do nothing. Not so much as one single small trade. But I'll tell you this: if she's concluded nothing is to be done, see, I'm getting way ahead of myself now, but like, if she's concluded nothing is to be done, then what is Rob still doing here? That's where I go next. It's like, you're gonna have him rebuild this too? I don't know about that. And this is coming from somebody who was very aware that he didn't get a shot at rebuilding the team. That was my argument. That, you know, he was under the foot, or under the circumstances that the clutch agreement would otherwise restrain him behind, I guess is the best way I know how to put that. But at this point, I cannot justify him being the guy that puts us in another position of any kind based on the results of this position that we're currently in and the difficulty it is taking us to build around LeBron James in the final year of his career. I don't think that we can start this season 0-5, trade Anthony Davis, and then justify keeping our GM after how this situation fell apart. I really cannot. And I understand people say this be unprecedented to fire someone who has just signed their extension. And I don't know if the letter of the law will allow you to do that, so I'm not pushing for something that just isn't right to do. But what I am saying is, if there's a way out of it and it's justifiable, I would be willing if it made sense, given the circumstances. I would not let that keep me from hiring someone that I believed in to do the job properly. Because I don't think anyone in the league thinks that Rob Pelinka should be the GM of their team after this jambalaya of nonsense they're seeing right now. I'm just being real. That ain't no joke. I don't think any team's gonna hire him after this. So us extending him just looks stupid to the field. I'm just being real. You know, the truth is not something that is fun to say, and it's not something that is palatable to receive, I respect. But the results are the results. And the delays of sending Russell Westbrook home, and delays on whatever the trades may be, it's the way, and this is the part that even I can't say that I'm mad about because of what I've supported and why. But it's just the results we're looking at now. Did you guys see what Miles Turner and Buddy Hield did this evening? Miles Turner had an exaggeratingly good game tonight, just to pile on to Rudy Gobert's incredible night that took place against our centers. Do you understand? If we would have had Miles Turner in place, we would have had a super performance to match the super performance. I mean, it's just a jambalaya of bad. And you know it's going to be mentioned tomorrow. Or rather, luckily enough, we got a weekend ahead, so it won't be any morning shows that speak on this. But that's the point, man. You're only saved by the fact that there's a weekend. That's the only thing. It's a mess. Then I'm afraid we're going to have to do something very painful to undo. But we knew that was a possibility when we did what it is that we did to get Russell Westbrook here. And if we didn't know that, well, that's something we should have seen. We definitely should have seen that. So, I want to thank Anthony Davis for being a part of our team, for choosing the Los Angeles Lakers, for signing the extension. And if there was a way that we could get you a team that could win, I would support that. And I believe that we could build around you a team that could win. I believe that. But the way we're currently constructed, the only way we can undo this mess is if we trade you. It's the only way we can do it. Like mathematically. So that's where we are. This isn't fun. I ain't happy about this, but I don't see no other way. We can go forward with this, and I'm afraid you're going to get hurt. I'm afraid Anthony Davis is just simply going to get injured. We're going to cost him his season with this roster and all the physical stuff that he's going to be responsible for, not just LeBron's. So it is what it is, y'all. I speak because I care. Not because I want to see people get fired, not because I want to see people lose their jobs, which is also getting fired. I'm getting sleepy, but it is what it is, man. I want to see people succeed, but this is about efficiency. It's about winning. I'm a competitor. I always have been. I was raised by Shaq and Kobe. That's the era I'm from, man. As a fan, I'm a killer. So when I'm getting stumped out by Rudy Gobert on a night where I end up 0-5, and I got players on a team that ain't living up to the expectations of the colors and the 17 championships that we've already achieved, I'm gonna be offended by that. It's disrespectful. And that's what needs to be understood. So I'm going to sign out here. You know, I normally get to the Kobe minute, but I probably won't be coherent if I keep this up. But at the end of the day, I want to see my team win, you guys. And I think a rebuild is the best path forward. But I don't know that Rob Pelinka is the guy I want to start that rebuild at all. Because this is the person who put together this jambalaya. And if it ain't his fault, it just appears that way. And all we can go by is the results. I hope this team can get us a win very, very soon, because that's what we need. My name is BDF44. I thank you all for watching. I'm out.